The Rams versus the Packers kicked off this weekend of football. The Rams lose to the Packers 32-18. They were never really in the game. If I'm being honest, the Packers put on a show. They dominated throughout the game. The game was kind of close, but you never really thought the Rams were in it. Matt LaFleur, he keeps devising. His offense is great. I think the system that he's implementing for the Packers is great. It helps Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have to throw for 400, 500 yards. They get a lot going in the ground game, sets up the passing game. And the way he devises plays is just amazing. He schemes players open. That was evident in that first touchdown, that Davante Adams touchdown, when he motions Davante Adams to the left, and then he motions him back to the right as they're hiking the ball. And there's nothing Jalen Ramsey could do to keep up with Davante Adams. It was just an easy throw for Aaron Rodgers. And Ramsey was visibly upset after the play, because he thought the cornerback, or the slot cornerback, should have slid over to cover Davante Adams, and Ramsey should have gotten the wide receiver in the slot. But they miscommunication, easy Davante Adams touchdown, nothing the Rams could do. And that's the thing that Matt LaFleur brings with his offense. He just schemes people open. He puts defenses in tough positions. They don't know what to do. Their communication has to be elite. If you have one miscommunication, the way that Matt LaFleur devises his offense is just really hard to keep up. And if you have talented players like Davante Adams and a Hall of Fame quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, it's almost impossible to keep up. And that was the problem with the Rams. They didn't have the horses. They didn't have the offense to keep up with the Packers. And they had an injured Aaron Donald that couldn't really make the impact that he usually makes. He had like 1 tackle, 0 QB hits, 0 sacks. You could tell he was not 100%. You could tell he was still injured and not the Aaron Donald that we've been accustomed to. But the Rams did have a couple of chances to make some plays to keep the Rams in the game. At the end of the half, there was 2 throws that Rodgers was trying to hit down the seam, and both of them could have been intercepted, but the cornerbacks couldn't come down with the interceptions. At the end, they held the Packers to 3 points. But those 3 points, when the game was still in the balance, it could have helped the Rams, could have kept the Rams in the game more. But in the end, Rodgers threw for 296 yards, 2 touchdowns against the number 1 defense. The offensive line was great for the Packers. Aaron Rodgers was protected the whole game. They didn't get to him. They had 196 rushing yards. So the offensive line really dominated. They control the game. The Packers' offensive line has been great this whole season, and they showed up in the divisional round, really just dominated the trenches, and I think that's where they won the game. They were able to run the ball. They protected Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Donald was a non-factor. And there you go. That's your game. I believe it was a 55-yard touchdown to Lazard in the fourth quarter to push the game to 2-touchdown game. That sealed the game. Goff, he has an injured thumb. He was never really going to bring the Rams back. He couldn't. And that's all she wrote. Aaron Donald was crying at the end of the game. You feel for a guy like him, one of the top 5 players in the NFL, probably the best player that's not a quarterback in the NFL. Unfortunate that he came in injured, but I mean, you love to see a player's passion like that. You love to see people like really care for the game. It reminds me of J.J. Watt, of the speech he had, I think after the Titans game or after Week 16, where he was visibly upset and he was telling his teammates that if you don't care about the game, like, what are you doing here? That's what Aaron Donald reminded me. Like, him crying, like, it's just, he's hurt. He wants to win, and that's what you want from your players. But the Packers look good. Next week, they host the Buccaneers. I think they were talking about how it's going to be 22 degrees out when they host the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are coming from Florida. They're used to, hot temperatures, sunny days. 22 degrees favors the Packers. But, I mean, Tom Brady, he's been playing in Foxborough, so he's no stranger to 22-degree weather. So we'll see how the Packers do. They look good. They look dominant. I do believe the Packers are going to win and punch a ticket to the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, The first time he hosts a conference championship at Lambeau, which is crazy if you think about it. I think that's more on McCarthy than on Rodgers and on the Packers as a whole. But shout out to the Packers. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers. Really clean game. Really impressed me. They look good. I thought the Rams had a chance to steal this game just because of their defense and their running game, which has been an Achilles heel for the Packers defense before. Like last year to the 49ers, they gave up like almost 200 yards, I believe, or more through the ground. So I was scared that the Rams were going to be able to run on the Packers defense, but Packers defense looked solid. Aaron Rodgers looked really good against that number one defense. And I think that's my pick. That's my pick for the Super Bowl for the Packers. I think they're going to go all the way through. I mean, my original pick was the Seahawks, but of all the remaining teams, I have the Packers going to the Super Bowl. I think they're going to take care of the Buccaneers. And for the Rams, moving forward, what are they going to do? Goff has huge cap hit going forward. They gave him that extension. They have a lot of players that they're playing a lot. They just lost their defensive coordinator to the Chargers. He's going to be their next head coach. So, I mean, I'm curious to see how the Rams retool for next season. They have a lot of elite talent, but I believe they need more depth, and they maybe need to try to get a better quarterback. I know Watson's out there. Could you see a package where the Rams get Watson and the Texans get maybe Goff, Cooper Kupp, and some picks? Do the Rams even have picks? I don't know. They made some trades, but maybe like I'm just thinking here. What do the Rams do to take that next step? Can Goff take him back to the Super Bowl? Can they win a Super Bowl with Goff? Has he plateaued? What's the potential for this team? How are they going to replace their defensive coordinator? How are they going to retool their offensive line, their defensive line? I'm curious to see what moves the Rams make this offseason, and I'm curious to see how the Packers do in the conference championship. I do have them going to the Super Bowl. I'm very excited to see how they play the Buccaneers, but we'll see how they do. Rams versus Packers, 32-18. Shout out to the Packers.